For the reasons set out in detail in a judgment published today, the Supreme Court allows the appeals brought by the finance companies.
And with that, the banks were off the hook. It is a car finance scandal that has rumbled on for years, but today the country's highest court decided that it was not illegal for car dealers to receive commissions from banks when arranging car loans for their customers. A win for the industry, but millions of consumers will now miss out on compensation.
It's hugely disappointing. I think they are mostly looking after their own. In this case, the government. They didn't want a financial crash. This was obviously on the cards. And the consumer is left out in the cold yet again.
Dawn was hopeful that the Supreme Court judges would uphold a Court of Appeal decision. It could have triggered £44 billion in compensation, on the same scale as the PPI scandal. It's telling that this judgment came so late in the afternoon. Lord Reed started the verdict by explaining why. That the judgment had the potential to cause considerable disorder in the financial markets, so the Supreme Court decided to wait until they had closed. It points to just how significant this could have been for the banks. Billions of pounds at stake and the Treasury poised to step in. In the end, however, the banks and the government are breathing a sigh of relief. But for customers, not all hope is lost. Banks will still most likely have to pay out over commissions that were specifically linked to how high an interest rate dealers could get out of their clients. This practice was banned in 2021, but could still cost the banks about £20 billion in compensation.
They're still very much exposed for the payment of discretionary commissions and the setting up of those structures which cause car dealers to act against the interests of their customers. So there's still a large amount of compensation to be paid, but they'll be very pleased that their total liability has been reduced today.
The financial regulator is preparing a redress scheme for those customers. But had the Supreme Court gone the other way today, its workload would have exploded.
There are cases where there could be arrangements that have been unfair, and the way that commissions have been paid are unfair, and we'll be studying the judgment in detail over the weekend. And if we think that there are many cases like that, and this is a significant issue across the market, we will consult on an industry-wide compensation scheme to provide fairness for consumers and certainty for everybody.
For people like Dawn, it doesn't feel very fair. But for the banks, well, they maintain the regulator knew that this practice of hidden commissions was widespread. They say a ruling that went against them wouldn't have felt very fair either. Gurpreet Narwan, Sky News.